I cut off my parents. And I don't regret it. Depending on who you ask, I'm either the most ungrateful son in the world, or someone who finally stood up for himself. Growing up, my parents constantly reminded me how much they sacrificed for me. It wasn't occasional, it was daily. If I didn't get perfect grades, they'd say, "We worked so hard to give you a good life. You need to succeed so you can pay us back." If I wanted to go out with friends, they'd ask, "Why can't you just stay home with us?" Even as a kid, I felt like I owed them something, like my existence came with debt. But I told myself that was normal. They were my parents. They loved me. At least, that's what I believed. When I got my first full-time job at 19, things shifted. They sat me down and said now that I was earning, it was time to contribute. That sounded fair. I was living at home. So I agreed. At first, it was small amounts. My mom would say they were short on bills. My dad needed help with repairs. "You live in our house. You have responsibility to this family." Whenever I sent money, they praised me. I was a good son. If I couldn't send enough, they became cold, distant. They reminded me how much they sacrificed raising me, how I owed them. So I kept paying, month after month, year after year. Last year, I finally saved enough to rent a tiny apartment. It wasn't much, but I felt proud of it. Around that time, I got promoted at work and started dating my current girlfriend. When she found out about my family situation, she asked something I'd never considered. "Do you actually want to give them the money?" I didn't know how to answer. It never felt like a choice. It felt like the price of being loved. A few weeks later, we had dinner with my parents. I made the mistake of telling them how much I was earning. My dad smiled. "Good. Now you can send us more." He said I should start sending a fixed monthly amount. It was my responsibility. I told him I needed to think about it. His face changed instantly. "After everything we've done for you, you're hesitating." My mom started crying, said they must have failed as parents. My dad said I was abandoning them. When my girlfriend tried to speak, he told her to shut up. She wasn't family and wouldn't understand. And then he said it. "If it wasn't for us, you'd be nothing." Something in me broke. I realized nothing I did would ever be enough. So for the first time in my life, I said no. I told him I wasn't their investment. I was their son. And I walked out. They called me selfish, ungrateful, a disappointment. For weeks, they blew up my phone. Soon relatives were calling, demanding I apologize. I felt horrible, but at the same time, I felt free. Eventually, I blocked them. It's been 2 years. Some days I still feel guilty, but most days, I realize I'm finally living for myself. Not out of guilt, not out of obligation, just living. So, A for cutting off my parents,